Oh,
Frost
and Monty
Knight.
actually got a 3-star Dragon Knight, which is
Jesus.
very scary. And 1v1 3-star Dragon Knight versus 3-star Lightblade Knight with
But
the
I mean,
Killerbot
Killerbot.
300.
The winner, I'll be randomly selecting one comment from each video I post throughout the month, then selecting one of those people at random to win the console. So the more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Good luck. Also, my good friend Alexandro is giving away a Nintendo Switch this month, so be sure to head over to his channel for more details on that.
We have seen a lot of Dark Spirit late game.
With refresher orbs, too.
Right. We have seen multiple Dark Spirits with Refresher, but of course that's insane. We even saw a game with 2 Dark Spirits to finish off a very, very strong Knight player in the end. So
That's
a lot of
stacked up
yeah,
Hell Knight. Yeah.
very much so. But I think we have the game about ready. We're going to jump into that right now, and we see SZLs.
SZL.
SZL.
Yes. Sizzle.
Zizzle. Yeah, that's
Sizzle.
better. That's much easier.
Like
to
sizzle and
pronounce.
spice.
Sizzle Spice.
And we have...
Taboo Witcher start.
Yeah.
I haven't
Taboo
seen that
start.
at all, basically.
It's. I mean, let's take a look at his. So he even has a God of War
Wow.
in his shop.
This is quite the preference. He even had, I mean, we both have talked about how strong God of War is, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, but a lot of players just opted to go for those early goblins as well. So kind of surprising that he went for God of. Do you feel like he has kind of picked up a different metagame in his own group where
Possibly. I
Feather
mean, he
defense are
is
good?
the #1 player in this lobby
Yeah.
right now,
So he
based
must-
on points. So
he must be doing something
he
right?
must be doing something right. It would be interesting to watch his early game and see how he plays and if he has a strong early game because of it, or if he has a weak early game, and maybe that's something that he can work on as well. Although Taboo Witcher is still an extremely good starting unit if he does get it to 2-star,
True.
it does shut down a lot of those goblin mech early comps that try to get their skills off and stuff like that. The only thing that it doesn't really shut down is God of War, but
Yeah.
now we see a nice early Phantom Queen plus an extra Soulbreaker and Taboo Witcher. So if he gets these 2 to 2-star, or at least one of them 2-star, he's going to be in really good shape going into round 4.
No, I agree. Could there be a testament to maybe if you prefer Taboo Witchers or maybe even Feather units, could it be that this lobby maybe plays a bit more Knights on average, or even more Warriors?
It could be. It could be. I think after this first game, we'll be able to kind
Tell,
of feel it out a little bit more and see exactly what playstyles we're looking at. But we do have the Warrior Cave Clan, full Cave Clan, by the way,
Yeah.
already round 4.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad
Swordsman,
at all.
of course, strong starting unit. Let's have a look at quite the personality in the community. Monty, of course, finding a 2-star unicorn. I haven't seen a single unicorn in play on 2-star yet.
Yeah,
Have
I
we?
think this is the first time that we've seen it in this tournament, at least, or noticed it. He is able to stack all the items that he wants onto it, because you're obviously going to sell this.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to win this first round, although it was a very good try. I mean, obviously 2-star unicorn is better than a 1-star stone spirit, so it is going to actually provide quite a bit of support and damage at the same time. If you look at the DPS chart, 1,000 DPS from unicorn, round's not even over.
No, not the worst, but of course Fan has that Cave Clan finished and has even a 2-star Red Axe together with that God of War, so strong start for him. Let's have a look at Saf. Let's go down the screen, see what people are kind of starting with.
Zath was doing the Cave Clan Warriors. Let's take a look at Hosty. Actually, we haven't
Alright,
seen
yeah.
him yet.
Position change. Ooh.
Does have a 2-star God of War.
We have seen during this cast that 2-star God of War start is just so good because it opens up so many avenues where you can go into. And remember, you don't have to enable that divinity in the late game, but it's incredibly strong this early. Wow.
Yeah, that was
2-star Abyssal Guard, that is actually insane.
I
this
believe that
early.
was a round 5 roll, by the way. I don't think he was just given that. I'm pretty sure he
you
took
sure?
a chance to roll for it, because he did have a couple pairs with Heaven Bomber and Abyssal Guard, and I think he was rewarded with a nice 2-star pickup here.
Look at that. Well, I think this is gonna make sure basically that Host is gonna be able to go a long way here in the early game. Probably looking for that third warrior pretty soon, but you don't want to deactivate the God of War this early because his spell is super powerful. And of course, God of War doesn't work with any mana. He's only working with his cooldown on his spell. As long as the Divinity is still going, he's going to deal a lot of damage early, basically bursting down a lot of one-star units. So Hosty off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, he does have a pair of Skybreakers and a pair of, well, just a pair of Skybreakers, actually. He sold one of his Heaven Bombers for the Skybreaker. And
Probably
he did get the
leveling
sword.
now as well, right? For getting the third warrior in. If he get the swordman in, he will, of course, enable his triple warrior. Actually opts to not level, but stay on 4 and actually taking out that Skybreaker.
I think that might be a mistake.
We'll see.
He did level up, okay.
Did level up finally.
Leveled up, and is that another swordman or
Yeah, yeah, it seems that way. Potentially like one of the sickest starts I've seen in this entire cast, honestly. Really hoping to win here, so you can sell his Heavenly Bomber and get that Swordman, I would assume.
Yes.
Of course, don't want to sell the Skybreaker since it's so close to a 2-star. Yeah, super good start for Hosty. Also, if he's going Divinity Mages, that extra damage from the Swordman is going to be increased from its spin. And also Abyssal Guard is really nice until way later in the game, until you find Siren. So it usually doesn't meddle with the God of War kind of divinity buff for quite some time.
Imagine getting Skybreaker and a Swordman in this next round.
Let's have a look at this roll.
Very, very solidified into his win streak if he does.
For sure. Actually, it feels like there's a lot of strong players in this game. Even TT Tigers. Of course, it's still early, but we saw some pretty good starts. I think with some, of course, Cave Clans and. Okay, here we go. Okay, did miss. Unfortunately, finding a Heavenly Bomber that we talked about that I was gonna sell for that Swordsman. Didn't know that was gonna happen, of course, but playing on his odds correctly. Unfortunately, unfortunately that happened.
Let's go ahead and take a look at T Tigers. I was kind of interested to see if he was gonna roll or not potentially, and he decides not to. And maybe round 8 he might give it one more roll in order to find a 2-star Swordman upgrade, but he's going to be just fine against Zath here. T Tigers, on the other hand, looking at a possible Knight build already here. He's kind of got like Knights, Hunters with a little bit of Agarsis thrown in, I believe. Yeah, with the Evil Knight.
It's going to lose this run, however, to M80. M80 seems to have a pretty strong Goblin start with, of course, 2-star Heavenly Bomber and also that Ripper being quite proficient in the early game. One of the few units that can deal some extra AoE damage, something you don't find if you don't have God of War 2, of course, or maybe a Lightblade Paladin.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier where some of the players are starting into Feathered very early because potentially we might see some Knights players. And already we have M80 basically stacking up Knights Glaciers on his bench. We do have T Tigers with Knights Glacier in play and also purchasing them.
Right. I think I saw a Phantom Queen 2 for M80. Yeah. So if you're going into Knights here, it's going to be kind of awkward because you really want that Hell Knight, right? But you don't want to sell this Phantom Queen in quite some time because it's so powerful early, right? We talked about it being hard to find that really good AoE damage, and if there's one unit that's good at that, it's Phantom Queen 2-star.
Yeah, it's actually a really insane pickup for M80 early on here.
Yeah, so we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but we said that when we talked about the differences between EU and NA, we talked about some players in NA actually likes to roll a little bit earlier in the levels, and this is something we barely saw in the EU groups at all. Do you think there's a big difference here?
I think with that early roll from Hosty, that was aggressive play, but he is 100%, so trying to keep on that 100% win streak for him is something that he wanted to protect, and he's going to want to protect it for probably the next few rounds, even at round 9 as well. He's going to want to obviously try to do everything that he can to stay on that for as long as he possibly can as well.
All right, so Monty losing this round, kind of in between. He's not really open forwarding, but I mean, there's a lot of really strong players here, so losing, it's not that weird, honestly. A situation from M80 and Hosty being quite strong. What about the bottom tier? Are they both open? They're not open forting, I would assume, from Cecil and Fan. Nope, they're not. But they're definitely loose. Are they loose streaking even? This team does seem pretty strong. That's a lot of red axes, by the way.
Yeah, that is 7 red axes.
Could this be the... I mean, this got to be a record for this tournament if... I mean, how fast you can get a 3-star.
Yeah, if he actually gets it. Or
Yeah.
he could sit on it like those defectors that we saw in EU for 20 rounds and lose a lot of interest on it.
Sure. I do feel, however, that red axe is quite a lot better to get to 3-star than defectors. You can kind of build your comp around it, maybe going for 6 warriors, and it will be useful throughout the game for him if that's the case, if he gets a good swordsman too. But swordman is really contested in this game, actually. There's multiple people with 2-star swordmen.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Fan is trying to do with these red axes. Because right now he doesn't have gods activated because he has the Cave Clan bonus activated. He's sitting on Shining Dragons, possibly looking into gods mages, or just going to dragons mages as well after that. But there's definitely a huge difference in, I would say, EU compared to NA already. The fact that every single player in EU's first thought was to go dragons mages.
Yeah.
No matter what they were building, they were always grabbing Shining Dragons, Dragonites, and Venoms whenever they found them, and they were sitting on them for quite some time, basically no matter what.
Yeah.
And in this lobby already, we can kind of tell that that doesn't seem to be the case here. We actually see some Assassin play a little bit into a loose streak with Fortune Teller for Sizzle. We also have Zath now. Yeah, he's kind of going that dragon route here with the with the Assassin and Spirits.
Of course, putting in that spirit for the creep round, super good against these melee units, stunning them.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned this last night during the NA qualifiers for Group 2, when we see people going at Knights Glacier. T-Tigers is one that does it extremely well and will roll at level 5 until he gets his Hell Knight and at least his Lightblade Knight as well, because that's the highest possible chance that you have to get those. And I'm gonna be really excited to see it happen live right now, so that way everybody at home can also kind of see the genius behind this.
Do you think, I feel like this is quite uncommon how many players there are still at 5. There's actually 4 players that are still level 5. You see usually tons of them already being 6 at this point, and we talked a bit about following kind of the flow of your lobby. If people are going up to 6, you probably want to go up to 6 yourself to not lose too much life, but
But if
at the moment
everybody's
it's
staying
split
at 5,
in half, right? Yeah.
then by all means let T-Tigers stay at 5 as well and kind of do his thing.
No, for sure. But not only T-Tigers, but Saf just now went to 6, but even Fan and Sizzle, of course, loose streaking at this point, staying at 5. Do you think we can see a difference even now at the gold acquired state? We can probably see...
I mean, we definitely saw a huge difference in some of the EU games, and I would assume that things are going to be a little bit more equal here. Yeah, it's pretty much as equal as it can get across the board.
Interestingly enough, Fan is actually on the bottom tier here, and he is also on the bottom tier in terms of health, so not a good position for him to be in. This is actually, this is very scary for him at this point.
Yeah, not trading health for economy or economy for health, you know?
No.
He's kind of just losing both at a more rapid pace than other people in the lobby that he's up against.
Yeah, it doesn't seem... So far, Tigers hasn't been able to find those upgrades, of course, on the Hell Knight and Lightblade Paladin. So
but that's what he does.
Well, unfortunate for him.
No, he's going to stay there till he gets over 50 gold, and then as soon as he gets over 50 gold...
Yeah. No, I definitely understand the idea behind that, but I'm also thinking if you stay at 5 instead of leveling a little bit earlier, you will still get the natural roll from the round. So he's already increasing it by not leveling. So I think he already have given himself a high chance, even if he doesn't use extra rolls. So
yes, no, I definitely understand. And let's go ahead and jump over to Monty and see how he's doing. He does have some pretty decent 2 stars already. And he's sitting on a Dragon Knight with a Shining Dragon as well.
Yeah, we've seen this before, and getting those early Dragon Knights is super. I mean, the problem with finding early Dragon Knight is you don't really want to find it early, like because it's so expensive on your bench. But you can't really not buy it because it's so good, right? That's where you want to go in the end anyway. So every time you have a chance to find a dragon, that's what you're gonna do. And he actually finds a Venom too. So this is actually a really nice pickup of multiple reasons. He becomes a little stronger, but he also gets to sell a few of those placeholder units that he previously had. So finding that Venom actually makes him getting closer to the next interest rate anyways. So nice pickup here for sure.
Yeah, and already around 13 full Dragon synergy. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
Where, you, like you said, you don't have to worry about having other filler units for now. Now you just start looking for your upgrades.
Oh, this Soulbreaker is doing big work here. Is it? No, it's not actually gonna get the sniper. That's a big deal for Devilus. His sniper is gonna continue doing some damage here. Is it gonna matter though? It doesn't seem like it. Monty's front line is just too strong. It's gonna persevere here against Devilus, and Monty can keep all of his units. Doesn't have to sell anything. Goes up to 30 gold for winning that round.
Yeah, it was definitely a crucial win for Monty, and with that early Dragon synergy, I, wasn't expecting anything less. Devilus, though, kind of into a feathered hunter build, it looks like here a bit, with God of War frontline for now, with the defensive steel plate mail on him as well.
Very nice. Yeah, the steel plate mail really helps because that means that God of War actually doesn't really need two other warriors to become as tanky as it has to be able to tank for the rest of the front line. Meaning you can definitely get in a lot more damage in your back line instead. So super nice for him. Doesn't have the God activated now. Going for that serious debuff for your opponents, of course. Also has the sniper. So there's a lot of ways that God of War is shut off. Do you think it's worth it? I mean, most of his damage is physical, so probably. But it's a shame to lose that divinity buff this early, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame to lose it, but also the Aegis
yeah, it's just too important.
It's
right?
kind of like, give or take.
Yeah.
The only thing that I do find a little bit interesting is having the 2-star Whisper Seer in there instead of a Dwarf Sniper.
Yeah, I agree. We have actually been kind of baffled about how many Whisper Seers have been in people's setups throughout the tournament, honestly, where neither of us have thought that they should have been there. Actually, getting a win against Monty, so we know that Monty is pretty strong. He was able to beat Devilus on his own board, I believe, so must be nice for Devilus to get a win for sure. M80 has actually stopped winning. He doesn't have that amazing win streak anymore, it seems like. I thought, when do you think he lost? Can we have a look at his win record? I don't know if it's updated yet.
He did lose round 12 against T-Tigers.
Yep.
Alright, let's take a look at round 15 gold gain. Pretty even, honestly, still.
Yeah.
20 gold difference. There's no massive, like, half gold people that are in the lobby. Everybody's kind of keeping up for the most part.
Yeah, we saw earlier that Fan was actually way behind in both HP and money, but he's actually regained a lot of his money by not leveling and not keeping a big bench and kept loot streaking. Although I'm a little scared for him because he's 2 levels behind Sizzle, for example, and he really needs to turn around here after round 15. Now that he's kind of reclaimed his gold, but it could have been unnecessary evil, honestly, because when you're there at half HP and you're starting to decline in gold, that's just you can't get back from that. But if you sacrifice some of your HP, it's at least possible to fight for those top 4 spots that you're actually looking for in these games.
Yeah, so he can make the decision if he's gonna just force level 1 experience away from leveling up naturally, or if he's just going to allow him to.
This is rough.
Yeah, I mean, losing to Wolf is always not fun, and that's a big loss. -8 when you're already at less than like 32% HP. It's pretty rough.
And those items are so important as well.
Yeah, he's got to make the decision to, I would assume, level up this round.
Yeah.
As much as it hurts the gold, he's probably got to do it.
Wow, He's one Dragon Knight away. It's kind of sick actually that they found one only at level 5. That's like almost no chance at all. Also finding a shiny egg, so we see him actually... It's actually rolling now. I'm actually surprised that it doesn't... Okay, so he's trying to look for his red X. That kind of makes sense, but I would have liked for him to go to 6 to have a higher chance to get a Dragonite, because if he hits that with his shiny egg, that's going to be... He's going to be so strong. He's going to be the strongest on the board, basically. So,
and the positioning's a little awkward for this too. I'm sure he's trying to do a lot of things at once that round in order to try to stabilize here, but yeah, I mean he's level 5, M80 is level 6. There's already 2 other people that are level 7, and Red Axe Chief getting him to 3-star is not really that impactful in my opinion. No. If he does get the 3-star God of War, okay, that would be pretty nice. And then if he can find himself a 2-star Dragonite, that would also be very nice as well.
Yeah, what is really missing in this comp is some more damage, right? So as soon as he levels up, I'm sure he's going to try to find a backline that can help him deal some damage. He has a lot of tanky units right now, but that doesn't really help him to fight against knights that just keeps getting those extra armor shields. So
he's at 13% HP, so I would assume that he's going to let himself level up naturally next round and then roll everything down for a 2-star Dragonite.
Yeah, the God of War would be big too. I'm actually surprised that it doesn't remove his Swordman. It's not like his Red Axe actually needs some more flat-out health. It's just important that he finds that extra damage, and especially if you have 2 God of War. Now I would really want him to
So
remove.
he just egged. He egged the God of War, by the way.
That does make sense since he has 2 eggs now. He still needs one Dragonite to egg it to 2-star anyways. But still, I would have removed this Swordsman for sure. I think it's hurting his damage too much that it doesn't have the divinity buff here. He needs to find another type of warrior.
The 3-star God of War is... If that's getting its skill up half as... Yeah, or twice as much.
Almost half, right? With the nerf.
Well, he's getting it off, like half cooldown, right? Well, I think that would be, massive for his damage. But he does stop the bleeding here at round 17.
I kind of want to see his natural roll and also his upcoming roll, see if he actually tries to grab another warrior or if he's going to keep that swordsman around. There's actually another, but that is a human though, so it doesn't really help with the swords, of course. With that werewolf, which warrior is he looking for? Abyssal Guard, maybe? What else is there? Could be anything.
Abyssal Guard, Stone Spirit wouldn't work, but he does get the 2-star Swordman.
Okay, I think this is a mistake, honestly.
He went ahead and leveled up now as well. And I believe he rolled all the way down. And he's at 2 gold.
Yeah, it's not looking fantastic for Fan here currently. He's pretty much shut off. There's an Abyssal Guard. Yeah, I guess he's giving up the chance to ever go Divinity. I mean, if he's gonna go for that Dragonite, I think he's kind of locked into that. He has the Shining Dragon 2 already, Dragonite plus Shining on the bench. So at some point he will get out of Divinity. But in the meantime, I feel like it's better to have Divinity than that Alliance upgrade. But yeah, trying to transition into one of the strongest late game comps, honestly.
He's got a long way to go to get there still. But I think he can probably... He needs to start econing back up now, otherwise he'll just be too far away. Especially with Hosty and Devlis already at level 8 now. Still putting pressure on the lobby between the two of them.
Yeah, I think his best hope is to econ up a little bit until he can go to 8, and then immediately goes to 8. And at 8, he's gonna have a high chance to hit that Dragonite, and that's gonna be his big upgrade. Also, actually, Sissel going pretty low this game, taking a lot of damage from Monty.
He's going Assassins.
Oh wow, I haven't seen a Abyssal Crawler in a while. At least not for the later stages of the game.
He does have a 3-star Razor Claw, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so he has a 3-star Razor Claw front line here. Picked up a second 2-star Soulbreaker as well as a Shining Assassin. And he's sort of strong, and he's able to get behind, say, for example, Fran's God of War 3-star, but at the same time, he's far away from a 2-star Shadowcrawler, or not far away from a 2-star Shadowcrawler, I mean, and not far away from a 2-star Shining Assassin, and getting those 2 pickups alone, being able to go up to level 8 and throw in the Warpwood Sage would be very, very helpful.
This jump behind this Knight backline is so massive. Get all the soul reaper. Although, it's a little, as you said, it's a little annoying for Sizzle that it has so many 1-stars. It's good that it has Razor Glow 3 though. That's really pulling a lot of weight here. Probably gonna give him enough time to especially get the Shadow Crawler too, because Shadow Crawler right now has a lot of items, like, right?
Yeah.
So an upgrade there would be super nice for him. M80 kind of still leading pack. I mean, we saw him stay at 100% for quite some time. Actually lost to Sizzle here, and but he's been a little bit ahead all the time. He's been losing quite a few some matches, so he lost his streaks, but he seems to be overly pretty strong here. I assume he has another Hell Knight in play, so not too far away from that 3-star Hell Knight, and we all know how strong that is.
Yeah, and keep in mind though, not only is M80 going Knights Glacier, but also T-Tigers is going Knights Glacier, so they are kind of competing for the same units, and both level 7 still. Both rolling, and I'm sure both of them are trying to probably find the units before they actually go up to level 8.
Yeah. No, totally. I feel like that's the most common strategy. You can look at it in one other way to like one player rolls a lot at a lower level to get those 3-star, and the other player could go up to higher levels just to enable more synergies if they feel like they fall behind in terms of trying to get those units. But with only 2 Night Glacier players, there's usually enough units to like kind of give them enough as it is. So is there another Glacier player? I don't think so, but let's just make sure. So Devil is of course having all those God of Wars. Sniper, not too far away from God of War 3. Doing some feather.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
know.
going with the
Feather Hunter.
It's mainly just I would say the Hunter build right now, and
Yeah.
he'll probably add in a Warlock synergy with.
Yeah, I was just surprised
Venomancer later on.
that he bought the Turbo Witcher, but I guess there is no real downside to buy it if it doesn't get you under 50 gold anyways.
Yeah.
And Monty is running with... Okay, so he's still of course in Dragon Mages, and actually finding that Doom and Werewolf we often see in kind of the optimal build, if you will, for Dragon Mages. Of course, since Dragon Knight is a human, and together with Source, it's kind of easy to get those 4 humans with Tortola Elder and Werewolf. Can even get up to 6, given that he has Flaming Wizard. We don't see that often, but with Pirate Captain, it's not out of the question.
Yeah, and round 21, everybody's up at level 8 except for Fan here. Still just doesn't have any economy. Going for those 3-stars has been pretty rough, and still hasn't found another Dragon Knight yet, which is definitely rough for him.
Yeah, no, 100%. Still, of course, on his Assassin. What is Saf doing? We haven't had a look at him for a while. Of course, also going Dragon Mages. Seems like we're gonna see a lot of these Dragon Mages. I mean, we have already seen a lot of them, but we haven't actually looked at this particular lobby at all during the game. So it's interesting to see if it's all about Dragon Mages or whether it's a few different comps like we saw in the other NA group. Very diverse over there. Ooh, he has a Pirate Captain too. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, I definitely think Zath is in a better spot than Monty is right now. Both going for similar builds, but Zath has got, well, I mean, with the pickup of a 2-star Storm Shaman now, that's actually huge for Monty, but Zath still has the 2-star Pirate Captain, the Stone Spirit bonus. He also has a pair of Tortola Elders as well, which is a very strong unit once you get that to 2-star. So it could... I would assume that Zath would win if being face up against Monty.
Yeah, no, I agree, and like this, getting the Turtle Elder to 2-star this early is just massive. Deals a flat amount of damage, right, with his big burst damage, and the earlier you're gonna get that, the earlier you're gonna be able to one-shot a lot of units.
So something to note as well, T-Tigers had exactly 4 Hell Knights about 2 rounds ago. And then he rolled all of his gold in and got his Hell Knight to 2-star or 3-star. while M80 also tried to roll in, but was unsuccessful. So even though he still has the HP advantage, I think T-Tigers now is ready to launch his comeback. And yeah, like you said, he does have the Heaven's Gift on the Hell Knight as well, which is massive.
Quite the item. We talked to great lengths about how good this item is for the amount of items you need to put it together. We're both kind of surprised that it isn't like a legendary item or something, because how strong it actually is. So that's going to pull him ahead a lot. Of course, with that Berserker too. Doesn't have any items. I feel like Berserker is one of those units, together with Light Blade Knight, that is really dependent on having all those damage items. And they're kind of competing for the same items too. Sometimes I feel like it's hard to know which one I should focus on.
I would say if you're going to put items on one of the two, I would focus on Light Blade Knight if you're going to get her to 3-star, which he's only two Light Blade Knights away from a 3-star Light Blade Knight, and once it gets to 3-star, it's going to be much more powerful than a Berserker 2-star.
Right. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
However, if you're not even anywhere close, then just throw everything on a Berserker, because that's probably better than the Light Blade 2-star.
Yep, I see that. And especially when you get the Soul Reaper in, I feel like those Light Blade Knight bounces are just becoming so much more powerful, and some extra damage in there, of course, that scales super well. Fan really on the verge of getting eliminated here. 2%. We saw this kind of coming a couple rounds ago, where he was both losing on life and economy, and now the time has come where he has to reap for his sins, if you will.
Yeah, and he's still sitting on this poor Soul Dragon Knight and the egg, just waiting for one. And one thing to notice as well is that Monty, as well as Zath, I believe it was, as soon as they got the 3 Dragon Synergy, they put them in, even at 1-star. And that's something that we have not seen from Fan. He's using those other units instead to obviously give him some mage damage, but something to think about would be removing Shining Dragon, removing the 2-star Swordman, and then throwing in that Dragon Synergy. So that way you at least get your Shining Dragon off as quick as possible. You have the Venom in there, which is an insane unit right now, and they're all being protected by a 3-star God of War.
This is gonna be it for Fan, the first player to be eliminated of this first game of the first group in the NA qualifiers. Sissel hasn't been losing too much in a while, right? That 3-star Razor Claw really paying dividends, and we see a 2-star Shining Assassin, of course. I believe we don't see another Shadow Crawler on the bench, so that's probably also upgraded.
Also, one away from a Warpwood Sage 3-star as well, because I'm sure one is on the board now that he's level 8. And then pretty close to a couple more 3-star Assassins. So, yeah, it's fun to see an Assassin build in this tournament, since we have been kind of robbed of all of our Assassin games so far.
Oh, he actually doesn't have another Shadow Crawler. I wonder what happened.
He sell?
Oh, maybe Shadow. Could it be that Shining Assassin has all the items? He sold the actual, so he sold the Shadow Crawler with the items as soon as he found a 2-star Shining Assassin to be able to put those items, of course, on her. Trying to get a bit of a power spike to survive longer, so he could try to get the rest of his units. So interesting tactical play, something you don't see too often, but sometimes it's necessary if you don't have too much of a cushion, as Sissel is on, of course, 19% health here.
Yeah, it's a little scary. I'm kind of on the fence of whether I think it's even worth to put those items on a Shining Assassin over a Shadow Crawler and actually give up a pair of Shadow Crawlers, even though you're so low on economy already. But at the end of the day, like you said, he possibly could be thinking that he's at 19% HP. He's maybe 1 win or 1 loss away from going into a very severe low HP situation. So doing everything he can at this point to not take another loss.
See if he's gonna continue rolling down here. Found another Shadow Crawler. This would, of course, have been his pair. Found the Soul Breaker. This is super nice because not only is it a bigger upgrade, but he also is gonna make some room for his bench and found that Warpwood Stage 2, this is quite a massive upgrade for Sizzle. And now he's going to have a bit of breathing room, honestly, because not only did it become a lot stronger, but having so much room on your bench is so nice to be able to get those 3-star units, which otherwise could be stuck in your shop.
Yeah, he's got some, like you said, breathing room, and it's just a little bit of a good feeling to have a clean bench and know that you're not wasting any more gold as something that you can have something instead doing damage for you, you know, keeping HP for you, rather than just keeping it on the bench.
Is he standing there? What is going on? Did it die
He's
standingly?
already, I think he's already dead, yeah.
Okay. He did go out with critting for 1200, I believe. Or was it Shining Assassin, maybe? Well, there was a big crit, and Lightblade Knight pretty much just blew up.
Soulbreaker 3 looks pretty interesting in the PC version,
Is
actually.
he gonna go diving?
He looks like a G.I. Joe, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so G.I. Joe characters or He-Man characters when you were a kid?
Neither.
Neither?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm actually too young for those characters too, but my brother is old enough, so I got some He-Man stuff into me when I was a kid, and that was the stuff. I'll tell you that much.
So
that was
play
cool.
with dolls.
Excuse me?
You play with dolls?
No, I just watched the TV shows, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just assumed
Just
you were
messing.
using the dolls. That's why I asked you. Of course.
Well, I obviously know about G.I. Joe because Soulbreaker.
Oh,
right
yeah.
there, right?
I wonder why he's going diving, though. It seems kind of
Yeah.
annoying to go around with 2 golden swords when you go diving. But, you know, to each on their own.
There's some sirens down there, maybe. Some abyssal crawlers down there waiting for him in the Marines.
That's a big tutorial elder ult. Is it going to be enough, though? Probably with this pirate captain dealing not only a massive amount of damage, but also getting the stun, enabling tutorial elder to make another ultimate. It's going to be enough for Hosted to survive. That, of course, went to 9 very closely, feeling that he had to do something to stay alive, because 2%, that's just 1 unit away from losing. So gotta win all of his rounds here if he's gonna stay in this lobby.
And I think it's scary for Hosty because I would assume if he goes up against T-Tigers, he's going to be out, because T-Tigers is on a pretty heavy win streak. Also gaining some economy back up here as well. Slowly but surely. I'm sure he's also looking for that 3-star Lightblade Knight here very soon.
Yeah, I really like this thing, because if you go between games, right, between all these auto battlers, at least one strategy that's common in for example, the Unlords is that you know when your comp needs certain units and like which one are more important. So you go to a level and you stay there and roll some to get those to 3-star, and then you go up a higher level to roll for other units that your comp needs. And I feel like TT Tigers is exactly doing that with his Hell Knights, and it's proving to be super powerful for him. We talk a lot about matching the tempo of the game, where you want to go up to a higher level when everybody else is, but TT Tigers is doing something different here, where he knows he needs these 3-stars for later in the game, right? Just making sure that he gets them before it's too late. So that's super cool to see.
I think the thing with T-Tigers is that he's actually creating the tempo for this lobby right now.
Yeah.
Or was at the beginning. Hosty is going to take 7th here. Zath dropping down to 1%. Sizzle at 7%. T-Tigers is still on a win streak until right now, and he's going to drop down to 38%. But he's still very strong. The only thing is that he is 1 level behind. Most of the lobby. I guess it's half and half, 8 and 9. Monty now taking the lead here as well, even though he also lost to Zath as well.
Wow, yeah, there's actually a lot of players losing this round. Zath has that 1-star Dark Spirit, and that's going to be super nice with a couple of strong Knight players in this lobby. So good on Zath, but he is down to 1%, so pretty scary.
Yeah, and Monty also a very long way away from 2-star Dragon Knight. Only has 20 gold in the bank as well. Going into round 29, M80 also with a very stacked up Lightblade Knight and full Glacier as well. But instead of having Soul Reaper in there, because he doesn't have Evil Knight, he's got that Venomancer in there. So nice little
Variation,
yeah, because what you're missing out with having Aegrisys, well, kind of got deleted there, but you can make up with that ult from Venomancer.
Right, yeah, you're not gonna get that minus armor for the full duration of the fight, but as long as the Venomancer ultimate is out there, you're gonna get pretty similar result, honestly. As long as each round isn't that long, and as long as you get your ult off, it is almost as good.
Yeah, and Sizzle and Zath actually both getting knocked out. Sizzle taking 6th and Zath taking 5th here. Devlis now next up on the chopping block, and I'd like to see the gold gain here.
Our favorite graph.
Yeah, Hosty actually at the top at 296.
Still.
And yeah, he's been out for a couple rounds now. So that was actually pretty insane. He must have low rolled if that was the case. Monty is the next one, and he is at the top of the lobby right now. Devlis is looking pretty good too. He just needs to use some of that gold in order to possibly get his 3-star. I would say 3-star Dwarf Sniper is his main concern right now.
Yeah, I agree, and like we see a lot of players that they were like, you could see that they needed that 2-star Dragon Knight, for example, with 20 gold, but with it being around 29, they probably wait for the creep round, and after the creep round, I think most players will just use all of their gold to find those last upgrades and cement themselves in kind of getting some very important points in this lobby, because this lobby is razor thin close. I mean, it's right on the edge here for everyone, and every position really counts in these rounds. This is kind of the lobby where pre-shields will make the difference between 4th and 5th place.
Yeah, and this build from Devlis is kind of crazy. He does
finally
get the
shining
3-star
end, yeah.
Dwarf Sniper, so I would
Probably
assume
gonna
he's
see
just
him.
gonna do it.
I think he's gonna roll down and see if he can find the sniper before he uses his shining egg on it, and if he finds another God of War, he might be using it on that instead in hope to get both of them, basically.
Yeah, it's just a very interesting build right now because it's a 6-feathered, or not quite. It's a
4, 5, 6.
no, it's a 6-feathered, yeah. 6-feathered, 3-hunter or 4-hunter-ish with Aegrisys built in as well.
Seems super strong. Yeah, this is what you can do if you get that extra level of feathered going up to 9. You can get that extra, like kind of alliance, and this Hell Knight is just wrecking havoc. Look at it.
Items, yeah. It does have the Heaven's Gift like we saw earlier, plus the Cattle Hide armor and another Kira axe as well. He's taking 9 damage from T-Tigers on this one, and T-Tigers making pretty easy work of Monty as well.
Yeah, this
Especially
is
2 Knights Glacier
yeah.
players.
They're both doing super well. They're both super strong, honestly. Yeah, M80 actually only looking for that Hell Knight that we know that T-Tigers have had for a long time. He does have a 3-star Despacito though, and 3-star Despacito is nothing to scoff at, especially if he's getting that orb of refreshing.
Yeah, 3-star Despacito, he did take a little bit of a nerf a couple patches ago. He doesn't have as many bounces as he used to, but overall still one of the important units to look at, you know, upgrading to 3-star. Plus, if he gets to level 9 here eventually, which he should be looking to do, possibly after he gets his 3-star Hell Knight, is he can throw in the Storm Shaman and also get the Shaman bonus as well to instantly turn somebody into a duck from the other team if he can actually make it that far. But going up against Monty, taking very heavy damage there, dropping to 35% HP. We do have Devlis now up against T-Tigers, and this is going to be it for him. Even with the feathered, going up against the Knights Glacier that he should be countering technically,
yeah.
He is going to get knocked out here at 4th. Of course, Devlis was kind of in last place on the leaderboard standing overall, but definitely picking up some respect points here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even for someone like Devlis that is so far behind, there's a chance that he comes back when the points are so spread out between all the players in the entire lobby. That makes it much easier to kind of get into that top 4, because that means there's not going to be a player like Disowned or Magikarp that's just so far out of reach that you can never get, which does kind of mean that everyone else is fighting about top 3 instead, you know. So very good for Delos that it still has a shot being so far behind, mainly because how close this lobby is.
And Monty also on the bubble as well, looking to get himself a nice first place win here would be very good for him, actually.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe this Tortola Elder. We'll see how this Hell Knight is going to get to the back line or not. It's kind of slow in getting there. It's not going to be enough. What about this Lightblade Paladin? It's actually taking out the Dragonite, so this is going to be enough for Cheese Tigers to defeat Monty. And Monty only takes 3 damage, but it's a little scary that you're losing at this point, because that means pressure is on you to change and get better.
Yeah, it's just these 3-star Hell Knights are going to be tough to deal with. As a mage player, you know, going up against 2 other Knights Glacier comps means that you're probably going to be having a rough time every single round.
It is good though for Monty that he does indeed going for Dragon Mage. I think one of the reasons why it's so good that it offers different avenues of attack. You just don't only have that initial burst damage for Tortola Elder and the other mages, but you have the kind of solid damage coming out from the dragons, and especially Dragonite of course, but also Venom slowing down some of the key units from this Glacier Knight players. For example, slowing down Berserker can be super big, having the most attack speed.
Yeah, he's actually going to get T-Tigers
I don't know.
2 times in a row.
Yeah, this Light
and it's going to be the same result both times. So just the Lightblade Knight that he has to deal with each time, taking a couple hits here.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah. And now he's just got to hope that these 2 Knights Glacier players can knock each other out, because like we said, he definitely needs this first place win.
For sure. And it's actually interesting. Yeah, T-Tiger is actually won by a fair margin on his side of the board. Of course, round 35 now. Montes has 22 gold, but T-Tiger actually has 50 gold at this point. I think T-Tiger is in a really good position. He, of course, has the Hell Knight, a 3-star, and Lightblade Paladin. 2 of the most important units to get to 3 stars. What do you think he's going to do with his 50 gold? Is he going to go up to 10, perhaps?
One of the things to note about T-Tigers is that he's only lost about 10 HP over the course of the last 15, 20 rounds or so. So that's why he feels so comfortable right now, and that's why he has that economy built up. But there's a couple things he could do. He can go up to 10, right?
Seems
but
like
he does need something to actually put in, and it looks like he did spend some gold into leveling. Or actually, he didn't. He rolled down a little bit, possibly. Yeah,
very quickly. Oh no, yeah, he does have 11 out of 40 now, I believe. It did get updated. Yeah, that's last second. We did, of course, see him go from 56 gold to 51. So yeah, looking to go up to 10. I think you want to look for a Dark Spirit at this point. I think that would be the natural way to kind of go against the other Knight player, if you will. And it's kind of the best counter to it, because right now he's actually crushing Monty on the Dragon Mage. I mean, he has 5 units at the end of the battle, so what he really wants to focus on is a way to beat M80 here.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Also, getting a 2-star Siren, though, does help out against Knights Glacier with slowing down that attack speed and slowing down the Berserker as well, and giving him a chance for his 3-star Hell Knight that's stacked up with items to kind of get in there and do its job. I also think that T-Tiger's Knights Glacier build is obviously much more focused than M80's with the with the Evil Knight as well as the Soul Reaper in there. It just makes a lot more sense to have the units that he does compared to what M80 does. M80 has that variation that has kept him this far, but I think overall in the long run, T-Tigers is going to win over M80, and I think T-Tigers is also going to win over Monty at the end of the day, especially with the economy.
Yeah, we gotta remember that while M80 is maybe not having the optimal night gold, I think he made the optimal decision from where he was standing. He didn't have those evil knights to go with the Soul Reaper, so he made a gut call to go for something different, to keeping in the game. And if that is getting you to top 3, that's good enough, I think. So very smart for him, kind of securing a higher position. But you never know, he could overtake T-Tigers. T-Tigers does have the lowest amount of health in this lobby, even though we do think he's the strongest player currently.
Yeah, Monty actually beating T-Tigers on his end. A lot of it had to do with Lightblade Knight looking at the Venom for half the match. So as long as maybe it's time for Monty to actually get out of this cornered strategy, so that way he doesn't get completely rolled over by a Lightblade Knight. The only problem is that if he does do that, he leaves a lot of his kind of squishier units really exposed. So it is a kind of a weird decision to make, I suppose, but that Lightblade Knight does do quite a bit of damage to Monty. Both of these Lightblade Knights being 3-star.
Yeah, and we can actually see that as Monty started to winning a few of his games here, because it is close, and wow, now it's actually crushing M80. We can see him actually saving up gold here, a bit of economy, and this is big for him, because if he goes to 10 as well, he can actually be the one that's competing against the Tigers, because we talked about M80, which actually won a round against T-Tigers. It feels like everyone is winning against everyone. I don't know how that's possible.
Just trying to get us to another Nian Beast game.
That is
no big deal.
That is what's happening. But the thing is, M8 is the only one who doesn't feel confident enough to save up his money, and I feel like that's going to be his downfall in the end.
Which is weird, because he is on a 5 win streak from what it says, which doesn't.
3 win streak. Yeah, it hasn't updated from the last. No, that was okay.
Yeah, it's saying he's got a 5 win streak.
All right.
Huh. Yeah.
Very interesting. Actually finding a Tsunami Stalker on his bench. I don't think that's what he want to end up with. Maybe if he thinks that Monty is the real target here, he might go for 2 Marine, but I don't. It seems kind of a stretch here.
T-Tigers is going to be up at level 40. I'm sorry, level 10 after round 40 with the amount of experience that he has right now, and of course the amount of gold that he will have after the creep rounds. Doing very good against M80. M80 doing good against Monty, and Monty actually dropping down to 3rd place now in HP because he lost to T-Tigers.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's very evident that M80 started having a win streak because he's the only one who keeps spending gold every turn to try to get stronger, while the other ones are kind of saving for a bigger finish. So at some point after the creep round, I think M80 is gonna kind of start to fall off. I think M80 was hoping that he could put more pressure on his opponents by rolling, but it hasn't really been enough pressure on either of them, so he's getting kind of punished here, I think.
Yeah, and M80 is also the farthest away from being level 10. He's right here. We have Monty right here. Potentially going up to level 10 next round and putting in a second 2-star Dragon Knight even.
T-Tiger's only
1 click away.
Effectively 4 XP away. With that, of course, you get 1 XP every round. Okay, Monty is gonna defeat the Glacier clans. No, we have another Tutorial Elder alt, but it's not gonna be enough. I assume that both Knight players is gonna be fine against the Glacier clan. It's super good to have a lot of tanky units and consistent damage, and burst damage isn't really the name of the game when you play against these creep rounds when they have so much HP. Wow.
Killerbot 300 on Lightblade Knight.
No big deal, just the best item on this unit.
Yeah, he's definitely got some nice items for his knights here, and yeah, he did go up to level 10, still debating on what unit he wants to put in for that 10th unit, and he goes with 6 knights instead, which is definitely not something that Monty wants to see.
No,
at all.
Yeah, the better they are at getting those protected shields that can survive the initial burst, the better they're gonna be on. But Monty actually found a Dark Spirit. Wow.
And it gets instantly penguins, unfortunately. But it is a very nice pickup for Monty. And if he can get that 3-star Dragon Knight, he's got a couple rounds where he's not going to be dying just yet, because it is fairly close. Even if he does lose the round, it's not necessarily lethal damage. So he could be 2, 3, maybe even 4 losses away from actually getting knocked out here. Now M80, on the other hand, took a lot of damage from T-Tigers that round.
As we said, that it could be smart for T-Tigers or M80 to get that Dark Spirit, because there's another Knight player that's really strong. Of course, it's even better for Monty, because both of his opponents are Knights, so it's always going to be amazing.
Oh, and look at that. He picked up a 2-star Dark Spirit here with the egg, and now just 1 Dragon Knight away from getting a 3-star Dragon Knight as well as a 2-star Dark Spirit. And that is a huge pickup for Monty, because he's up against 2 other Knights players. That's actually insane. He is going to go up against T-Tigers this round, I believe, because he was against M80 last time. So this is, I would say, the harder of the 2 for Monty to go up against.
Yeah, T-Tigers, of course, went up to that level 10, and it's starting to slowly roll down, but it hasn't gone all in much like Monty has, trying to find those units.
Beautiful Dark Spirit ult into a Pirate Captain ult.
But that Siren ult was just super overwhelming. Actually, Light Blade Paladin is gonna take this. And this can't be feeling good, because T-Tigers, he still has money.
Yeah.
This is an easy 9 beast game. I mean, it could get close to Roshan. You never know. I doubt it will happen, but it's probably the closest game we're gonna have to Roshan.
There could be some interesting things that happen though in the next couple rounds.
I actually don't even know the name of Roshan in this game.
It's Roshan?
It is Roshan?
It is Roshan.
Yeah, good.
Yes.
Because I've never seen Roshan in this game. I of course played it in Dota Auto Chess, but it's only happened a couple of times. And
yeah. So T-Tigers actually decides to take out 2 of his Knights, Argali Knight and Dragon Knight, and put in the double Marine bonus with Siren and Tsunami Soccer, which is very, very interesting.
I think it's smart. I think he understands that the real opponent here is Monty, given that it's a full level over M80 here. He feels less threatened by him, and trying to kind of meta game against the harder opponent to be able to win.
Yeah, but and Monty actually got a 3-star Dragon Knight, which is very scary. And 1v1 3-star Dragon Knight versus 3-star Lightblade Knight with Killerbot 300. I would say that you would think 3-star Dragon Knight would win, but Lightblade Knight with 101 HP left pulls out a win, and M80's going down to 1% here. Monty's pretty much maxed out at this point, I would say. I don't think there's much more that he can do other than focus on positioning, I would imagine. And the other thing he might be looking at is putting in a Thunder Spirit.
Yeah, that's smart actually. Does it have magic items for Tutorial Elder? I feel like that's a big linchpin here.
Yeah.
He does. Okay, so
actually one away from a refresher orb too.
Yeah,
if you can get that on.
So 9 beast.
Yeah,
There's a
9
low
beast.
chance he'll get it on 9 beast, since usually you get way more. Rarer items being around 45. But yeah, super interesting to see that, because of course he wants to be able to stun most of that front end, especially Hell Knight with that Dark Spirit together with Thunder Spirit.
The Dark Spirit actually got silenced this round, but I think he's going to be okay. But no, 3-star Dragon Knight has failed him twice now, and M80 does go down though, up against T-Tigers. So we are going to be on to the 4th Nian Beast game of the tournament. Yeah,
seems
just
like
a bunch
the
of little
ground
sad
is human
faces.
silence. No big deal.
But yeah, this is the 4th Nian Beast game of the tournament. Maybe
Yeah, it's
possibly even
crazy.
5th. There's so many of these games going 45 rounds plus.
I can really see why this lobby is so close. I mean, just look at this game. There's almost 3 players going into 9 beast. We haven't seen anything that's even remotely close to that. We've seen like 2 9 beast games, or 3 even, but at that point there were only 2 players left for many rounds, and here actually M80 goes out at round 44, and when you get to round 44 you usually at least get into second place, so that's something you don't see every day. It's gonna be really hard for Monty to be able to defeat Nian Beast.
Yeah, it doesn't have. Well, I mean, the 2-star Dark Spirit should do a lot.
That
of
is
damage
true.
here.
That is true, and also the positioning kind of works well for him here.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's good.
Tigers also is good.
So what items did they actually get?
Lucky coin.
Lucky coin and
3
teleport daggers.
3 teleport daggers. I mean, he's probably had that for a while, right?
Yeah, I don't think he got all 3 of them from this Nian Beast, clearly.
I mean, this is true. He did not pick up his refresher orb though either. This is gonna be interesting. I think either one could potentially win based on some RNG.
Ooh, is that a wow? Is that
2-star
is
Ghost
that a
Prophet?
Ghost Prophet?
Yep.
Yeah, I like that T-Tires has switched around this army so much. I mean, switching out that Soul Reaper for that very late game unit of course Ghost Prophet. Ghost Prophet is a little bit better against like a Dragon Mage build because she does a bunch of physical damage and Dragon Mage usually doesn't have tons of armor, so it being a little bit more effective there. And yet again we see Lightblade Paladin going up against that Dragonite in the end, but with the help of Tortola Elder, actually Dragonite's gonna take it this time, and also Monty actually defends on his side, so T-Tiger's gotta look out at this point. This has been so back and forth. This is quite a roller coaster, and you know what we're getting closer to?
Roshan.
Yes! Can we please have a Roshan this cast? Please!
We might be very close to it.
I mean, they're both losing like 2 or 4 life every round. There's always the
2-star
Dragonite.
helicopter.
Oh, don't get upgrades now. I want them to lose 2 or 4 life. I want Monty to win every round and T-Tiger is losing like 4 or whatever.
He did give up the warrior bonus, by the way, for helicopter. Got rid of werewolf.
Yeah.
Still has 4 humans though.
Right. Yeah, and also werewolf falls off a lot. His summons doesn't really matter at this point of the game. I feel like most of the time just get cleaved down by Lightblade Paladins and other units alike. And it seems like Monty's gonna take it, especially with that. No, actually.
Oh.
Ooh, but does get that Frost Knight, so good for him not taking too much damage. T-Tigers does win on his side, so it's really back and forth here.
I think clumping up in the middle here for Monty might not necessarily be the correct decision.
I agree.
I do think he needs to try to drag out the Lightblade Knight into somebody else.
Yeah.
So probably stacking something on his left side in order to drag the Lightblade Knight away from his carries.
Seems like he's hearing you.
So, yeah, well, he's got his whole...
They should.
I don't know. Lightblade Knight's going to go straight into his whole team. Right here, actually.
Yeah. Although that Frost Knight or that Dragonite is actually not attacking now. Now it's finally starting to attack, but it's actually getting some good hits, and it does really matter where that Dragonite does do his attack, but it's not going to be enough.
No,
He's going to go out here, and unfortunately we're not going to be getting to see a Roshan. I'm actually super sad about that. I was so looking forward to that.
Round 48,
Yeah.
Monty does get bested by T-Tigers. That was a very drawn out game, but I think
sure.
T-Tigers played that extremely well, like you said, switching up his units throughout different opponents that he's up against, going from 6 knights into double marine bonus, and then adding in the 2-star Ghost Prophet over the Soul Reaper, and just always changing his team, always thinking of different ways to better counter his opponents. It was really exciting to see and very intuitive of him as well.
No, I totally agree. It's super interesting to see these super great players play at the later stages of the game, because when you get into a 1v1 decision, I mean
Position,
rivalry
yeah.
position, you need to think on your feet and be able to counter your opponent. And